oh, summer, ah, ah, oh, summer, ah, ah, oh, summer, ah, ah, oh. So I was waiting for the bus, right? And then I saw this red robin fly across me, okay? And I was like, oh my god, he's so cute. He's so cute, right? And it was like red, and then, oh, Robin, right? So he reminded me of Batman. So I love Batman. Batman is like my favorite superhero, right? He can fight crime, he's in the black suit, and he's got a bat. Bats are scary. I don't know why he chose something that's scary, but anyway, to inflict fear. But anyway, he has got no superpower, bro. No superpower. Superman can fly. Huh? Wonder Woman has a truth rope or something. This man got money, got brain. I'm like, bro, you don't even fit in the superhero one, but you're a super genius. I don't know. So anyway, the Robin was there and it was singing, bro. It was singing this tune. It was like, I don't know what it was, but it's so beautiful. And it looked so cute, It was such a little tiny Robin. Then it reminded me of, the melody reminded me of a song my mother sang, in Italian. She's Italian, so she sang a song called Butterfly. Farfallina, bella bianca, vola, vola, mai si stanca. It's a very beautiful song. It's very beautiful. It's called The White Butterfly. But I don't know why the butterfly came when I saw the red robin, but anyway. So you're singing and singing and singing. I'm like, where did you learn how to sing, Robin? What? How can you sing like that so beautiful? I can't even sing properly. I have to go for lessons. I have to train. And you can sing. Parrots, they can bob their head when they listen to metal music or whatever the music. I can't even keep tempo, bro. I have to practice and practice. I'm like, animals, birds, they're way more talented than us, bro. They're so talented. They can keep time. Better musicians than us. I don't know why we're singing. I don't know why we're making music. I don't know when they're born. They can just sing and sing and sing and sing. But he was so cute. Like the Robin was so cute. I wanted to keep him. I just wanted to. Cannot.
Sorry, bro. I think the question was how many guitars you have.
Oh. I have 5, bro.
5, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, music lovers. I'm Devin from Music City. Today we have a very special guest. Marco George is a versatile songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and performer. Since 2017, he has released 11 songs and 3 EPs. Marco performs at local live houses and he drops entertaining videos on his YouTube channel regularly. The first time I saw Marco perform at Merdekaria, it was just him and his acoustic guitar, and I was blown away. Marco blends various genres and styles into infectious, emotion-filled masterpieces. Super honored to interview this talented individual. We'll talk about his influences, the story behind his music, and more. Hi, Marco.
Hello, Darwin.
Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you, and I'm super excited to talk about your music, what inspires you, and your entire journey and all of that exciting stuff.
Definitely. Can't wait.
So I'd like to start at the beginning. What sparked your interest in music? Like, do you remember what happened in your early years that might have made you fall in love with music, perhaps?
I think initially the blame is on my parents because they introduced me to music at a young age. I can remember my mom putting like baby Mozart in my room, and whenever I have a shower or something, or I need to have a bath, she would always play it like every morning, and that really influenced my taste in music. So,
Okay.
Even my dad would play the guitar, when I was a little baby, he would play and sing. And so the house was very musical. My mom could sing, my dad couldn't sing, and my dad played the guitar. But then they didn't really go into that later. But yeah, my parents, they introduced me to a whole range of music at a young
Nice.
age. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's the earliest memory of that? Like, do you remember?
I remember my dad playing
Pink Floyd's "Wish You Were Here,"
Right.
and that song has been like an anthem. Whenever I hear that, it reminds me of my dad.
Wow.
And so he taught me. He actually, how all this happened is he taught me two chords, like the E minor, and then the A chord, and then from there it was just like, this is what I love, you know. And I think for me, music really helped me develop my thinking, because I felt like when I was younger, I felt like a really dumb kid. But whenever I listened to music, I was very like focused and very like, it helped me focus on things. And I could, because I'm quite an empath as well. And so like sometimes the music I listen to, I get goosebumps.
Right.
And so I can feel it even more.
Okay.
So,
Wait,
yeah,
so you have a physical...
Yeah, I have a physical
response.
Reaction to
Interesting.
it. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I think I would say, especially U2 songs. So my first rock song that I learned was "Rock You Like a Hurricane."
Right.
With Scorpions.
Right.
Bro, I saw that music video.
Yeah.
Yo, I was too young to see that. I was too young to see that, but I fell in love with Scorpions. That was my first rock band. And then I remember I played the guitar part for my school. I was in my primary school. They did a show for the Sultan at the time, and so I played just those, like, I don't know how many chords there were, but I just played the chorus of the song, and that's it. But I felt like that was awesome. That was like my first show, I guess. My first
You played
performance
Scorpions for the Sultan.
Yeah,
Nice.
that was my first
How
performance.
old were you then?
I think I was about 9.
Wow, okay.
9. But very simple, like no fingerstyle and all that. So I realized I was like more rhythm guitarist, because I think that was only my skill. I couldn't really do lead. I could learn it, but I was not really fluent in that, and my hand structure is not really that. So yeah, Scorpions were my first ever rock band.
Nice.
And then went to AC/DC, then Pink Floyd, then Def Leppard. Def Leppard was a huge influence. But when I first heard a U2 song, something in me, like my body was reacting to it.
Okay.
And I think it was the lyrics.
Okay.
As much as the music was, but the lyrics were powerful. And so that's when I learned songwriting.
Okay.
I think I was maybe 7, 8, like that. I started writing songs and poems and all that
Right.
from listening to U2. And obviously, I mean, their song "With or Without You," it's like obviously their anthem. And so that song, like whenever I listen to it, I get goosebumps. And every song after that they made, I always get goosebumps whenever I listen to it, even if it's a rock song from them. But it's not just the music; it's the message, it's the words, and so they really influenced my songwriting. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you get goosebumps mainly with YouTube's music or anyone else?
Mainly, but there was one time when I heard "It's a Long Way to the Top" if you want to rock by AC/DC.
Okay.
I heard it a few times growing up. I mean, AC/DC was huge, but I don't know. There was one moment, I think it was a few years ago, where I heard it in the car, and I almost started crying of how like fearless the song was, of how like strong, you know. And AC/DC has went through so many tribulations, like, you know, Bon Scott, you know, dying, and Malcolm passing away, and so like that song really like spoke to like the not giving up part, the persistence. And somehow that triggered me. That triggered a really like deep feeling. You know, they're not just a rock band. They're not just that. They have actually a message.
Yeah.
They're trying to show that, you know, you can still persist. Rock can still persist. Music can still persist. Yes, we have some troubles. Like people have passed away, but the spirit does not die. You know. So that, I think all that encompassing, I felt that in the song. You know, it's like, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. That,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the perfect line. You know.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So was it mainly rock bands that were getting you at that time?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you into any other style of music at that young years?
Classical.
Okay.
Yeah, because Mozart and all that. Mozart, classical. I'll say prog rock as well, like Yes.
Wow.
Definitely jazz as well. But blues, mainly blues. Yeah.
Okay.
Like Eric Clapton was very young, and then The Doors. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, The Doors. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard you mention the Doors before
Yeah.
at an interview before on your YouTube channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Doors too.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that you grew up in a very musical environment because your parents are very supportive and they were musicians themselves. And
sort of.
Yeah?
Yeah. But then they didn't really pursue it. They inspired that
Yeah,
for me,
yeah.
but they didn't really pursue that as
Okay.
something else.
Okay. So they
but
sparked
but
that
they
interest.
sparked it. Yeah.
Nice, nice. That's a very nice place to have that,
Yeah.
that spark. Yeah. I'd like to talk about your music a little bit, right? So your music is so diverse. Like with every song that you create, I feel that you take the listener into this world that you've created for them, right? And it's like each of your songs have very different emotional words. And while they are all very unique, but I feel that they have this common underlying element, which is the groove. Whether your song is up tempo or chilled or moderate tempo, it always has a very infectious thing. And
thanks.
like I was telling the guys, like all of your songs within the first 4 bars, I'm already doing this.
Oh man.
So
Okay.
yeah,
That's good.
I love
good.
it. So
Thanks.
could you share a little bit about like your musical influences and where you draw your inspiration from in creating this piece?
Sure. I think it's quite funny actually, because the music I listen to is not really the music I make sometimes.
Okay.
You know, so I listen to AC/DC, rock, prog rock, Coldplay, whatever. But whenever I songwrite, sometimes it becomes like folk, acoustic folk, becomes like poetry, like Johnny Cash or Bob Dylan. And so for me, the way I songwrite actually comes from just improvising. Or sometimes I just record on my phone.
Okay.
Or sometimes there's a beat that I really like, and how can I change that into something else? So yeah, for me, it's more of the feeling at the end of the day, you know. So yeah, I think that's how it starts. Usually when I perform, like, I would say the influences that mimic or is almost the same or similar is like FKJ, Jason Mraz, Bruno Mars, that type.
Yeah.
How I perform, how I play.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily what I listen to reflects on what I do.
Sure.
It's kind of
Yeah.
very strange. It's very
I
interesting.
get it. Yeah.
Maybe it's how I interpret the songs and how I interpret those. But I feel like the songs I write, it feels like I need to listen to them. It feels like they are my parents. They tell me what to write. So I always start with the groove, the melody. If it's a piano piece, usually I started with piano, like playing the piano first,
Okay.
finding melodies, and then I sometimes switch it to the guitar or bass.
Okay.
Usually it's on the piano.
Was it the piano your first instrument?
Piano is my first instrument.
Oh, okay.
actually.
Interesting.
So I went for oh my god, I went for piano classes. I went for guitar classes, drum classes, and I hated it.
Oh no.
Can't stand notes, bro. I cannot stand notes. Can't read it. I can't read it at all. I mean, I studied music for my like IGCSE and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a high grade, but I
Yeah.
I don't want to go back learning. I can't stand notes, man. Because for me, I mean, if you're classically trained, like, that's awesome. Great for you. Keep doing it. But for me, I don't want it to be too technical. It needs to come from within, you know.
Sure.
It's great to have music theory. It's important. I think that's important. But at the end of the day, you need to chuck it away and be in the moment. And that's how, like, sometimes I have a friend actually who, he's a very talented musician, very good guitarist, very technically proficient. Like, he knows, okay, this is how many bars, that's this type of sound, that's that bass, that's the drum sound. Very technical, he's quite a genius. But if we ask to jam, he can't jam.
Okay.
He cannot feel,
Okay.
you know. So whenever I write music, it has to feel. If it's very simple, even if I play 2 chords or like just 1 chord, but if you feel it, win. It's a win.
Yeah.
You know?
Nice.
So yeah, it goes back to the groove. Yeah, I think you're
Nice.
right. Yeah.
What you said about music theory reminded me of this quote from Victor Wooten. I think it was, maybe someone else said it before him, but I heard him say it. And so music theory is like your toolkit in the car. You don't have it in front of you. When you're in the passenger seat, you have it at the back.
Yeah.
And you only bring it out when you need it.
When you need it,
But
yes.
you know it's there. And,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
So that kind of reminded me, what you said reminded me of that
Yeah.
as well. And I agree.
Yeah.
Like, I myself don't have like solid music theory knowledge, but feel is way, way more important, I feel. Yeah.
How did you start? How did you start with music? How
I was self-taught.
classes? Self-taught.
Self-taught, yeah.
Nice.
I've not gone for formal lessons, but I've just learned from friends and people
Same.
who I jam with and stuff
I
like
think I
that.
started music in the wrong because like I was not really forced, but like the way it was approached to me to learn it, it felt forced.
Right.
I remember like going to piano classes and I couldn't like I just repeated whatever the
Mm.
teacher taught me. Then one day I just decided to write my own song, just write my own composition. And then the next class I was able to play that piece, whatever I had to learn, really well. And then she looked at me, like, you see, when you practice, this is what happens. No, I didn't practice. I didn't have passion for it. And then when I tried to do something for myself,
Yep.
it was there.
Yep.
So it was always been there. It's just how you approach to it. So
Mm.
I wish I started as self-taught,
Okay.
but I started as, going for classes. Then I stopped going to classes because I
Yeah.
knew that was not for me.
Mm.
And I just learned from YouTube, self-taught.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How long were you in classes for piano and guitar?
Okay, so piano was more like, I would say 2 years,
Okay.
3 years. Then drum was like less than a year. Guitar was less than a year. Yeah, I studied like classical guitar. I hated. I didn't like not the teacher, but I just didn't like
Mm.
learning. Oh, this is this. I could play like different like songs already, and I just didn't like the technicality of it.
Mm.
It just like, ugh. Well, that's just me.
Right.
I just didn't like the confined to this. You have to
Sure.
learn this, and then you have to learn that.
Yeah.
To learn that,
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because you're a multi-instrumentalist,
Mm.
and in your live performance, you incorporate various elements because you create the entire song
Mm-mm.
when it's just by yourself
Yeah.
on stage, right? So how do you think that developed in you? Like, was it because of those lessons that you went for? Did they spark an interest, or did you just pick it up on your own later
picked it up
and
on
explore
my
it in yourself?
YouTube was my best teacher.
Mm.
YouTube was the best teacher I ever had. And when it came to looping, that was also by accident. A friend of mine, my dad's friend, he's actually a music. He organizes. He's an event organizer,
Okay.
and so he is also very musically talented as well.
Mm.
And so he bought me this loop pedal.
Okay.
Not that one, but it's like the Vox dynamic looper. It's like small one.
Yeah.
So that I had that for like years. I practiced with that, and so my songwriting became even more because I was able to like create songs just on that. So it's like I don't need a band because I used to be in different bands at that time. I was like, I don't need a band. I can just do it on my own. A bit cocky, but like I felt like I had control, because
Yes.
before when I was in different bands, I felt sort of there were so many different elements going into it, different aspects of it, different tastes,
Yeah.
and everyone went their separate ways. But I felt like this time I could like have something of my own, in that sense. And so my songwriting like became really stronger. I could just create and create and create and create.
So when did you start using the looper pedal?
Ooh. Let's say 2014?
Okay.
2014, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because when I first saw you at Murder Career, it was just you and the guitar, and you were not doing your looping thing at that
Oh, is
time.
it?
Yeah.
When was it? 2016? Because the first time I played Medicare was 2016.
I think it was around that time.
I had a loop. I had a
You already had the looper?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I don't remember seeing
really?
you doing looping at that time. I remember it was just you and guitar.
Okay.
But did you already start playing? with
Maybe
the
I
looping?
already started playing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
From way back then.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when did you graduate to the boss?
I think 2019. 2019. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I sort of expanded everything and was able to. I mean, I think in terms of looping, my inspiration was FKJ, and he's also multi-instrumental. He's way more talented. But yeah, I just enjoyed the process of just like creating and using Ableton as well. I think Ableton Live, able to use that elements and all that. I think it just became so fun. And to be able to create everything just by yourself, it was just like really fun. And I think that's where the songwriting already developed. Because if you actually hear some of the songs I have, it's very kind of like almost the same. Like sometimes the verse and the chorus is the same because it's all part of the loop. Like Summertime, it's just the same three chords.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just different variations
But
of
it works.
But it works, you
Yeah.
know? So I always find the simplicity of it.
Mm.
For me, anyone can shred, anyone can sing melody, and like, awesome, good for
Sure.
you. But it's like the simplest. If you can make it simple enough for everyone to appreciate it, I think that's, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah.
So, what are you currently listening to? Like, is there anything that's on repeat on your playlist
Yeah, I'm
right
actually listening to like swing music.
now? Oh yeah.
Yeah, like Dean
Okay.
Martin, Frank Sinatra.
Oh wow.
I love swing. Yeah, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
A bit of reminds me of the Carlton dance, you know. It's
Mm.
not unusual to be so. Yeah, I don't know why. I've always I love every genre, but now I don't know. Somehow I'm just drawn to swing now. I just love the
Is it because of the dancey?
yes,
element to
the
it?
dancing element. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I love to
Because you
dance.
love dance,
Yeah,
right?
I love to dance. Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah,
I've seen you dance on stage.
yeah. And part of the show, yeah, I need to move.
You're really good at that.
I need to-
I've seen you do it at least a couple of times where you get the crowd really involved and singing along and
I
dancing
feed on
along.
it. I feed on their attention. No, yeah, I mean, it's part of it. For me, it doesn't come like, okay, I need to get there. You know, it's if I feel it, I feel it. You know, then I'm in the mood. I'm in the zone.
Mm.
And if people can feel that from me, then it's great.
Yeah.
I think that last show in Madagaria, that was like really powerful. I think. I remember not just the dance songs or the hype songs, but I remember playing Light in the Dark.
Mm.
And that's the first time I felt something palpable, where everyone was listening to what I was saying.
Yeah.
You know, they were listening to the words I was saying. You know, they were clapping, they were like reacting. I think that's really something
It's
that's
beautiful.
powerful and beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
So I would like to talk now about. I know this is probably something that's very close to your heart. So you have a lot of experience in theatre,
Yeah.
and I know you're currently helping a school in the production of
Yeah,
a stage
yeah,
performance,
yeah.
right? So how has your theatre experience informed your stage performance as a musician?
Oh man, I think great question. I think theatre has influenced my life so much, not just in performing, but just in real life, in terms of how I am, how I act, how I speak, and all that. I think theatre for me, like actually, I don't just love music. I love movies. I love theatre. I just love performing, whatever it is. So even at a young age, I actually wanted to become like an actor. At a young age, I wanted to be on the stage, perform, sing, and all that. But mostly acting. I just loved acting. And so yeah, movies. The first movie that inspired me to not become an actor but a performer
Yeah.
was the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
All right.
That was the first movie I saw. I was 3 years old,
Okay.
and that movie inspired me to just become a performer.
Right.
Then when The Dark Knight came out, I wanted to become an actor.
Wow.
I saw Heath Ledger.
Nice.
I was like, bro. After
For real,
I
for
saw that
real.
movie, I put like lipstick on, I put makeup, and my dad shot a video of me becoming the Joker.
Wow.
Like, I want to be an actor. Yeah. So, I think the performance part is very important when I do music or when I perform live, because that's a part of me. I need to. If I'm just playing the guitar or something, but there needs to be a sense of performance, presence in that sense. I need to be able to, I don't know, go to a crowd, like put the mic on someone or just act in a certain way. Just be fun, just play, you know? And I think play is very important in terms of performance, you know? And theatre really inspired that. I used to like do like short films as well.
Oh, nice.
Create short films. I used to go to every like audition and like try to be an actor and all that. I mean, I studied theatre actually. I studied theatre
Right.
and film
Okay.
for my university.
Okay.
And that for me, you would think I would study music and all that, but I didn't want to study music. I didn't want to study something I loved, because I felt like if I studied music, I would hate it.
Right.
With all the technicality and also like
Yeah.
going back to what we said, you know, when
Being forced to do
being forced to
something.
do something,
Yeah,
if it felt like it would trigger something
Sure.
from the past,
Yeah.
like learning notes or hitting a deadline for this song project with the professor, or it should be a different thing. You know, I knew I knew a lot of my friends in the UK who were struggling, who were who love music, they're musicians, and they did that course, and they came out of it, they didn't want to do music. And that scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I want to enjoy it. So I'm not going to study that. I want to study something that I also love, which is theatre and film, which I also love.
Yeah.
And that really influenced everything, actually. And theatre really helped me in terms of the production side of things, right? Because I think the best theatre show right now that we all see is like WWE. I
Right.
think that's the best, like, if you actually think about it, it's like theatre.
Yes.
They're actors
Yep.
who are actually fantastic athletes.
Yep.
Actors are in a way athletes, right? And they put on a show. They have a script. You got lights. You got visuals. You got music.
Yep.
That's the best. That's a theater show right there. You know, and yeah, WWE also really inspired me in terms of presence. You know, but yeah, I'm very inspired by the live shows that I see.
Sorry, I gotta go back to
yeah.
WWE. So
Yeah.
who are your favorites? Like,
Man, okay, so number one, Undertaker.
okay,
He's my first love.
yeah,
He's my first
Ultimate,
love, man.
right?
He's ultimate.
yeah,
He's got that darkness.
the show and everything.
The show.
right?
Oh,
yeah.
in terms of presence, Undertaker.
From the moment he walks in,
The
it's
moment you
already there.
hear the
Yeah.
bell, boom, and that it's already it's in your brain. It's kind of like Pavlov's like theory of I can't remember, but
Yeah,
when you hear the bell, you already know.
yeah.
You know what you're in
That's
for.
his
And he takes his
entry.
time. You know, some performers they just go out there and all that, but you gotta bring a show, man. And that really showed me what showmanship is about.
Yeah, yeah.
Undertaker, you know, yeah, Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, Randy, and yeah, I think those three. Yeah, those three.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
I used to have WWE. Yeah, WWE was like my childhood as well. But I also like I had a like what do you call a hiatus from WWE for a while, and then when I went to this is so random, right? I went to Sri Lanka for a holiday, and then I just on my feed on my phone I just saw like a WWE match. I was like, oh my god, Undertaker! Okay, and then from then on I just binge watch like every like show. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, wrestling is like I love that.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Who's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
Oh, when I used to watch him when I was really young, it
Yeah,
used
yeah,
to be like Hulk Hogan,
Oh yeah.
the Ultimate Warrior, the Honky Tonk Man.
Wow.
Like he would come on stage with a guitar, and then usually by the end of the fight, the guitar ends up in pieces because he's just ripped it apart on the other guy. Yeah.
just bangs
But
it.
at that time, I didn't know it was a show
You know,
because no one explained that to me, right?
Yeah.
And then when I grew up, as I grew older, then I understood, oh, there's a story and like they are actors and they are athletes and
Yes.
they're physically fit
Exactly.
athletes, right? There's a lot going on that didn't, yeah. It's an amazing reference, WWE.
No, W is awesome. And also going back to the athletes, I'll never do musical theatre. Because that's almost the same as being an athlete or being a wrestler and all that, but in a different way. I did 2 productions. I was in 2 musicals. No, actually 3. One in college. One in university as well. But recently did one 2 years ago in PJ Pack,
Okay.
Follow the Light. And then I did one when I was like 15 in Malaysia. It's a production of Cats.
Okay.
And so that production was intense. We had to put on a show in a week. 3 shows. So it was like Cats, Wicked, and I think Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. No, Hairspray. We had to put on a show, like 3 shows. Like I don't know how they did it. I don't know how we did that. But it's like spliced in 3 shows, but in 1 show. Do that in 1 week. Bro, guess how much weight I lost? Just guess. Bro, just guess. I was 15 years old. Just guess.
5 kilos.
10.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
So you had 1 week to prepare
1
for it.
week.
That's crazy.
I told myself I'm never going to do that again. But the thrill of doing it is awesome because you're in a high state. Your
Yeah.
adrenaline is there.
Yeah.
When you are in it, you feel like so strong.
Yeah.
You feel so powerful. But when you get off it, because it's like a drug. And that's why I sort of stopped, triathlons and Spartans because it is a drug. You are in a high state. You're in a very heightened state. And when you stop, you fall. I was deep into depression, bro.
Right.
Suicidal thoughts, everything. Sport actually made me depressed. It's kind of strange, actually. sports actually made me depressed. And so, I mean, right now, I just do very light workouts, very light exercises, because I know if I hit a certain streak or a certain point, I'll be depressed, because it's kind of a drug.
Right.
I mean, in a sense. And I think that's for me. I think it's very individual. But yeah, the high was very high and the low was low. Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. So going back to how you're working with children in terms of theatre, right? I know you teach children
Yeah.
theatre
Yeah.
and stage performance. How important it is, do you think, for children to explore different forms of artistic expression? Do you think it's
I think
important?
it's vital. I think it's absolutely vital. I mean, we were just talking earlier about how, our teachers sort of influence how we, in terms of musicality and playing the piano or the flute, right?
Yeah.
And like, if you give us a rigid way of learning to kids, most likely you're not going to have kids who are inspired to do music. You're not going to have kids who are inspired to do art or be creative, because you shun them. I feel like the education system is a way to shun our creativity in a sense, if you let a person, because there's different, I think the government schools or all of that, we have restricted creativity into something that's, that's not important.
Yeah.
But there's so many different types of intelligence. You got
Yes.
visual intelligence, auditory intelligence.
Yeah.
Right? And I think if you standardize everything, it becomes like you're trying to make everyone the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I feel.
Yeah. There's a limit on how
there's a
much you can
limit.
express
Yeah.
as a school kid. in
As a
Malaysia.
school kid, yeah.
for
There's
sure.
not many avenues. Like, yeah, when you were younger, you could paint and all that as a kid. But then when you're older, that's not important anymore, because it's just for fun.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
They see art as for fun,
Yeah.
not as something that's healing. And music is healing.
Yeah.
Art is healing. Whenever I perform, it's actually a healing for me, and healing for anyone who listens to it. Or whenever I see a performer, it's a healing thing. It's cathartic.
Yeah.
And art is supposed to be healing. So I think for children, it's kind of weird to say, but it's like something to do with healing for them. It's a healing process for them. It's not just expression.
Yeah.
They should be able to paint. They should be able to write. They should be able to make movies.
Yeah.
Like make short clips, or when we were younger, we used to make all these little collages. I don't know why we stopped, because I think that's very important. And they sort of standardized the art. They made it so rigid.
Yeah.
Like, it's still creative, but it's still like, no, you
Within
have to
a
do it.
specific
No, in a
framework.
specific way.
Yeah.
Then you get this many marks.
Yeah.
If it's not in that way, like I remember doing my art exam, right, in high school. Like, how can you judge?
Exam for art?
Yeah. We have to draw something. Who are you to judge what is good art and what is bad art?
Yeah.
Like, but at that time, you're so focused on, I need to
Yeah.
make something that's really, and like my teachers at that time, because I was very artistic, and they like put all the pressure on me to make the best thing. I was like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, it's the pressure from outside influences,
Yeah.
So it's very important for kids to be able to be free enough.
How do you get that going when you teach kids and when you're working with the school kids? And
So I teach speech and drama, public speaking, and dance.
okay.
So obviously there is a structure to it. There is a certain goal that we want to set, but it's not a school. I'm not a teacher. It's more of like a facilitator. We facilitate growth. We facilitate creativity. So there's no right or wrong, but we want to hit a certain, like, there's an objective. By this time, by the end of class, they should be able to create 2 characters or 3 characters or whatever. And so I just facilitate play. It's very important to play, because in that playing, it's actually you're teaching.
Yeah.
They learn something.
Yeah.
They're actually learning
Yeah.
how to be spontaneous, how to
Yeah.
be present, how to speak. If they scream, if they're soft, we can play with voices, and we play different games and all that. But especially for dance, I think dance is quite specific. You need to hit a certain thing.
Right.
You need to listen to the instructor and all that.
Because of the
But-
choreography and
Yeah,
stuff. Right?
but for me, whenever I teach dance, see, I'm not technically trained. I'm not trained dancer
Okay.
at all. For me, I love dance because I just love it,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And I was hired to do dance because they could see my work before. Because even in high school, I was choreographing for my students, for my classmates,
Right.
and for school productions, and I didn't know I was doing it because for me it's natural, you know. It's natural for me to like be creative and be passionate about it. But other people saw it as, oh, Marco is just being this huge jackass or something, wanting to be like getting attention and all that. But it
Right.
wasn't that way. I was just passionate,
Yeah.
and they took it the wrong way.
Same.
Some of my friends took it the wrong way. Some teachers took it the wrong way.
Mm.
But some people who were really like, they knew me,
Mm.
they were like, no, this guy's he's got it. He can be able to do that. But at a young age, I was just able to just instruct people what to do and all
Nice.
that. And I didn't know I was able to get paid to teach dance, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was something I could be good at. But I think these things just sort of happen. But
Amazing.
yeah.
That's beautiful. That's damn nice. Now I
Yeah.
want to talk about your writing, recording, and performing, right?
Okay.
So when you're writing and recording, what's your process, your workflow, and then what do you enjoy most about writing, recording, and performing? So your workflow, process, and then what do you enjoy most about it?
Okay, so workflow process. So for example, Kings and Queens. That started off as a loop that I created. It started from improvising on the loop pedal. And that loop, before I started to be serious on it, it was 3 years. I had that loop for 3 years. I didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
But I found it so catchy. I found it so
Yeah.
psychedelic and really like strange. It was actually a strange loop, man.
Yeah.
But once I had that going, I think it was only after 3 years I went back to it and I was like, let me add a beat to it. So I started just breaking down my loop because I actually looped it on the pedal, and so it's a bit you wouldn't hear it clearly, but I had to break down what I made, you know. Because usually when I improvise, sometimes it just comes from improvising something, and something that I really like, I just record it on my phone or something. So you never know what comes out of it. So for me, it just came out of this loop, and I didn't know what to do with it. And then one day I just decided to sit down, break down what I did. And that's weird, man. That's like really strange and weird at the same time, but like really fun. So I had to break down the beat, the bass, the guitar parts. And yeah, I had to break it down, and I made a loop track. I made it properly with the bass and everything. And then from there, I just started just improvising words. What came out of it naturally.
Okay.
So for me, I just mumble it. So usually when I write lyrics, it just comes from mumbles and mumbles and mumbles. And then I see what words come up. And then somehow Kings and Queens came out. So like free ourselves forevermore was the first line. So I just went back. Oh, this could be something political. This could be something controversial. And then I just had the hook for another year. And I didn't know what to do in the middle. So that song took a very long time.
Right.
You had to ruminate. You had to build. And some songs, sometimes I wrote 3 songs in one day.
Right.
You know, that happens when you're in a flow state.
Yeah.
And then some songs take years, months. So for me, you can't really predict when inspiration hits. It's usually it has to feel right.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
can't really force it. If you try forcing it, it's not gonna. I tried forcing a song. If it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I think if you're in a flow state and you're writing a song and then you don't know what words to say or don't know what to add to it, stop.
Yeah.
That's the moment to stop, because your brain needs to process different things.
Yeah. Then come back to it.
And then come
later.
back to it months later or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But when I do my demos, everything needs to be proper. Like I need to have it on my phone recorded first or something, or I have it on my Ableton, like different feeds. Everything is there, and then I go back to it and I just arrange it properly. If I don't have words to it, I mumble.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, because the music itself instructs me what to say.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, sometimes I have words that are really interesting or lines that I like, but usually it comes from the music itself. Just improvising. Like Light in the Dark, that was I wrote that in the UK, and it was part of the EP. And I needed to write that song. I didn't know I needed to write that song because I was actually in a very dark place.
Right.
I was suicidal, depressed, and I needed a song like that to remind me. You know, some songs like I listen to it and it's like the older self or the younger self is speaking back to you. You need to hear your voice saying that to you. You know, and I think that was really powerful. And sometimes I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know what I mean when I say those lyrics. And I think that should be it. You shouldn't really know what you are trying to say. It's different for everyone who listens, you know. And to explain a song, sometimes it's like it's subjective, you know. Art is subjective. Whatever you want to hear, whatever you want to feel, it's up to you.
I agree. Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of songwriting and what was
So your process when you're recording, especially, right?
process. Okay.
So like, what's your workflow like in your studio at home when you're sitting down to put a song down in terms of a record? How do you go about doing it? Like,
It starts usually with a guitar part.
okay.
So I have a guitar part. I lay that down, and then I go to. So recently, yesterday, I actually made a new track for my friend's album. It's an Italian song. So I had that song for a while. So it started as just a guitar part that I played around with, and the lyrics are in Italian, and had it for the while. And then when I came down and sat it down, I just played the guitar part first, and then added the bass, and then I would add the drums last. So for me, I need to feel the guitar first, to play it first. So usually, actually, sometimes you think it's the beat. Sometimes I just put the guitar first, you know?
Yeah.
I need to feel it first.
Yeah.
Then I put the drums, then the bass,
Okay.
then the lyrics.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's cool that you have a really, really close like connection with rhythm. Like, I think regardless of whether you're playing the guitar or the piano or anything, but rhythm is always the
Rhythm
call
is
with
important,
you, right?
yeah.
I think that goes back to the groove that you always
Yes.
have in your songs,
It's
right?
important, very
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
Kings and Queens, it started as that loop, and then the drums came in. It started as the beatbox, like it actually started like this. So it needs to have that
Yeah.
rhythm already. So I had to replicate the drum sound based on my
Yeah.
beatbox, and that was so hard. I'm like, how the hell am I going to do that? Because for me, it's like natural. So I had to like really break that. Okay. Literally, I had to
Yeah.
slow down my beatbox.
Yeah.
Because it just came normal for me.
And
I
you
was
gotta
like,
pick
oh my
which
God.
kick sound do I use?
Yeah, man. So I had a demo thing going on, and then I went to the UK, did my studies there, but then I met a producer there. I was doing music. I was actually quite, not to say big lah, but I knew everyone there in the music scene,
Right.
the music society, the students and all that. So I always participated there. Had a band there. You know, we wrote our own songs and everything. Then COVID happened, and
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But yeah, I met with a producer there. It was a friend of mine, and my friend's cousin, and so he made the beat for me. He recorded it for me, and yeah, that's the track that you hear. Yeah.
Nice.
So he had to break down the beat and everything, break
Yeah.
down the guitars for me. So like,
So
because sometimes I don't know what I'm
give him
doing.
the loop, and then he had to break it down.
Yeah, I
Right.
had to like tell him, okay, this is the drum beat, this is the yeah. I had to literally like break down what the
Okay.
kind of beatbox is. That's
That's
very
how Michael Jackson used to write, because he used to sing it out to his
Yeah, he used to
to
beatbox
his band, and
yeah,
then his
he
band
actually
would
starts,
play it out.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's talk a little bit about your journey as an independent musician in Malaysia. What were some of the challenges you faced when putting out your music during the early years? And do you still face them today, or have things changed since?
I think it was very difficult because you're sort of doing everything on your own. So I think my first ever song that I released actually was a song I think called River to the Sun, and there was a music video with it. But you can't find it on Spotify and all that, because I think at that time I was very naive into the whole music releasing and marketing. I just wanted to release music.
Mm.
I didn't know anything about social media or
Mm.
or aspects of, publishing, or you need to copyright this or copyright that. I just released music, on SoundCloud.
Mm.
And then I think for me it was, I had no idea about anything about marketing and all that. So I just released music just because I could. And also I wrote songs with friends and released them on SoundCloud and some of them on Spotify, even though I had no idea what that was. So it was just, I was very naive in the external part of things. I just wanted to release music. I just wanted
Yeah.
people to hear my music.
Yeah.
And so, I had to really believe in myself in that sense, because no one could understand what I was doing.
Mm.
Even my parents, I would spend hours like just in Ableton, just trying to make music. And trying to do gigs. I think doing gigs was really important. YouTube was one thing that I tried to. I had a YouTube channel. I would post different things, but then I don't know. It just became quite difficult to do everything on your own.
Yeah.
So I just kept doing. I just kept releasing songs on SoundCloud and Spotify, not knowing what that meant.
Okay.
All I wanted was people to listen to my music.
Yeah.
So, I think what helped was people listening to it, and my friends, my close friends, listening to it and collaborating in terms of what could be improved. Because I remember back in the day, in my old YouTube channel, I would post songs that were, I don't remember if you remember this software, but it's like multi-track software.
Okay. Is it
And
Cakewalk? Or?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But like, you would record it on your phone, and you would take the track on your phone,
Oh.
from your phone, and put it on the software. But I had no like recording equipment, bro.
Right. Okay.
I had no mic. So I had my phone. So I just recorded individually all the
Yeah,
tracks.
okay.
And I put it there, and obviously the quality was shit.
Right.
So bad. But I was like, I don't know what to do here. I love music. I'm just gonna post it anyway.
Yeah.
Because I was just like so passionate about it.
Yeah.
Like, even though it sounded shit, but I was like, oh, I'm putting something up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I made my own like music videos, like lyric videos. I remember it was so cringy. If I had those videos, you'll see it's so cringy. It's so bad. But I loved it. I mean, I loved doing it. I loved making it.
Yeah.
But no, man, it's not a joke. It was
Yeah.
very, very difficult. Because not only that, because people would criticize you. My good close friends would criticize me about, oh, that sounds not really good, or my parents saying, you could do better. But even though that helped, you want to improve, feedback is important. But as a young age, I was like, I want a bit more supportive. But I remember with River to the Sun, I remember writing that in, let's say, when I was like 14. That was one of my first songs I uploaded.
Okay.
River to the Sun. And that's a song, I mean, you can find it on my SoundCloud, but that's a song I really wanted it to be big. But obviously at the time, I don't know what that meant. But that song was the first song I really enjoyed the songwriting.
Right.
Because it's very mystical. It's a very mystical song. I'm not sure if I remember the lyrics. Hey, baby girl, I've been waiting for you, waiting for a long time. The trees have told me that you ran away, cutting off all your lines. And I love the visual songwriting, and that's I kind of see in some of my songs. It's I love visual songwriting, so, lyrics that paint a picture,
Right.
something that's mystical, and something that's deeper, not direct lyrics. For me, like, it's always the deepness of the words and poetry. That's why and in school I was really good in literature. I loved books. I loved reading,
Right.
and that really informed me on the writing and
Yeah.
all that.
Cool.
But going back to being independent, very difficult, not easy. And I think now, I have a hold on things, I would say. And obviously networking with people, I think that makes it easier to collab. Now, right now I'm doing more collabs, and I mean, thanks to Music City to provide this platform. But I think slowly things are picking up. I've got more help. Just play with the band. I think that's really important. I think we can't do this alone.
Yeah.
As much as we think we want to be alone, because we think we're in control. and all that, but you don't realize that other inputs are important, you know, to go back and forth and things.
Right.
So I think things are slowly changing. I don't want to be. I think independent artists, you know, they have their own view on music and their own feel,
Yeah.
and they are scared to relinquish that control and give it
Right.
to others, and they're scared to have someone critique or change things. But I
Yeah.
think for me, I'm always open to that. Before I was very like protective. I think now you have to give away. You have to give now. I think that's where I'm at right now. Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What do you think has helped you grow in your journey? Like I know you mentioned the feedback,
Yeah.
and then having the support, having the network. In your early years, when you were trying to figure things out, what has helped you during that time? That
I would say
were there any specific opportunities that came your way, or specific people that you met?
I would say that. I would say it started to blossom when I was in the UK
Mm,
because I was technically independent
Yeah.
from my parents,
Yeah.
from friends that I knew. I had to make new friends.
mm,
And in doing so, you would meet people in that industry. I was very into, like right now, some of my friends actually at that time are now quite big in the UK. They have a band together,
right.
and they're quite big. But I remember when I was performing with my band at the time, and they were in the audience, you know. And so it's those type of experiences that really like keeps me going in a sense, because things are always changing, bro.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, don't want to jinx it, but like one day I may not have this band. One day I need to find a different band or something. But I think right now I cannot think of that, because you need to. I mean, life changes, everything
Yep.
changes, right?
Yep.
Your interest changes, and I think I need to be open to that.
Right.
You know, but I remember at that time with music at that time in the UK, it was just really eye opening for me, because everyone was so passionate. Everyone was so deep into music, especially my friends who were in the music society. We just collaborated with we just jammed. We just did a jam session, and I was just feeling, bro. It was just
Yeah.
feeling. Nobody had, oh, you're a different octave. Oh, you know, there's no technicality of it, but like it was just so fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just more collaborating, just meeting people. Yeah, networking.
Nice. Yeah.
That's what really changed. Just me being in a different environment, a bit uncomfortable, and that forces you to change.
Yeah.
That forces you to get out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
And that really, I explored different musical aspects, right? So like Light in the Dark was inspired when I was in the UK. A lot of the music actually, most of the music that I made was actually inspired in the UK, you know? So that really pushed me. I would say, yeah, the UK actually.
It's an
That was the
amazing
change.
place with
Yeah.
all kinds of music and
Yeah.
culture. Yeah.
Concerts, even busking.
Yeah.
Just busking, people busking on the street. That's an inspiration. And I think the culture in the UK is so awesome. But yeah, before we shot this, we were just talking about how Malaysia and the UK is like, I think people there are just much more like, it comes normal to them.
Yeah.
Music comes normal. The art is just everyday
Yeah.
part of their life. But yeah, UK changed. That's the change. That's
Yeah.
the tipping point. That was the turning point.
Do you think it's because like art and music and theater is very encouraged,
Yeah.
like when children are very young
Oh,
itself, right? Compared to here,
Oh yeah.
depending
yeah,
on how
yeah,
you're
yeah.
brought up and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. But the only downside to it, if everybody's in the arts, then no one is. You know, if everyone is so that's the thing. That's very something tricky about the UK and like and artistic and countries who encourage artistic expression. I think on the good side of things, everyone is able to express themselves,
Yeah.
able to create art, music, painting, drawing, movies, and all that. But there's a quote from Incredibles, and Syndrome says, "If everyone is super, then no one is."
Yeah.
Which is like, wait, you're right. That's interesting. Because the value there of music, since it's an everyday thing, it's like going to the shop to get something, or, you know, here, right? Going to the mama. It's like going to the mama and eating, you know? For them, music is kind of that way. And it's like everyone is expressing. And yes, it's very fun, very enjoyable, very like entertaining, but it's like part of the culture. It's part of it.
Yeah.
And I think on the flip side, it's great. On the bad side, it's like, so what? I see that every day. What I see that guy singing Adele, very high tone. Like I see him or her perform like every 3 times a week, 5 times a week. Very good, yeah, very good. You know, it's like the value of it is sort of distorted in that way.
It's not as special.
It's not as special as
Right.
it is. You know, even like the pub scene and everything. Yeah, everyone is there, but it's so like active, which makes it like, oh, I can go to a gig every day, see a band perform. That's awesome, but then I'm bored.
Right.
It goes
Yeah.
almost like that. You would think you would think you know going to see a concert every day was
Yeah.
like awesome, but as time goes on, it's like it's kind of the same thing.
Mm.
You know, and that's kind of like a paradox, which is
Yeah.
very interesting. And there's so many talented artists in my uni. Amazing, incredible singers. Why are you not up there?
Yeah.
Because they all sound the same.
Right.
They all sound the same, and it's so saturated. There's so many talented people,
Yeah.
so many people who can write songs and create things, and there's nothing wrong with that. Do that, but you have to see how incredibly tough it's going to be, and it is. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, I get you,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I get you. So you've played festivals abroad, right? And you've played with a full band before. How was that experience like for you, and how different is it playing events abroad compared to playing events in Malaysia?
I would say in the UK, well, most of the festivals were in-house, like in the university itself.
Okay.
In-house universities, or just playing different pubs around my area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so not much because like COVID happened like because I was there like 2018, 2019,
Okay.
and COVID happened 2020. We were supposed to almost get like to record an album. We actually had enough material to record an album. But COVID happened, I had to go back. And so I would say over there it's everyone thing was, I would say, it was much more accessible there. Whereas here you need to really knock on doors and all that.
Right.
Because over there it's like I said before, it's just normal culture to play gigs and to perform. Whereas here there's a bit more effort, which I think I like, you know, it drives you. I think over there some musicians are a bit lazy actually.
Right.
That's what I noticed.
Right.
They can just play anything because it's so ingrained in the culture. Which again, it's great, but at the same time, there's no drive,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And there's 100 of them.
And there's hundreds of them. They can shred, hundreds of them can play bass, drums. Like it's so there's no one that stands out.
Right.
Everyone is so talentedly awesome
Yeah. I get
that
you.
no one stands out.
Yeah.
And so you can be the best, like I go back to this, you can be the best musician, you can be the best guitar player, the best singer in the world, but if you don't have something that differentiates you from others, then you're not to say you're nothing, but you're not in the eyes of people.
For
in a
sure.
sense.
It doesn't
So you
make
need to
as
be
much of-
different.
Yeah.
Like Bob Dylan, not really the greatest singer.
Yep.
You can't really belt.
Yep.
But what makes him awesome? What makes him great? It's the storytelling. It's this voice, distinct voice. So what makes you distinct? What makes you different? Because almost everyone there, like it's almost the same song style, almost the same performance. And you're right now, like in the UK scene, like the songs itself, they almost sound like very like I don't know about you, but I feel like songs now they're very like whispery, you know, like Billie Eilish sort of started that thing, and now you got all that whispered tones, very soothing, almost jazzy, like lo-fi thing.
Yeah.
She's like almost the same. You almost hear it in the radio all the time. There's nothing that's different. You know?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I don't know about you.
I get what you
do
mean.
think?
I was hearing someone say that something like this recently, where so today you'll find there's so many good musicians, like technically proficient, right? They can play anything,
Anything.
but very few with soul. Like when they start playing, something
More
happens
so.
and you're like, whoa, that is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
You know? But you, like what you said, you see so many of them. They're really good, really good. But you may not remember them for
Yeah,
long
they're not
after
memorable.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
How
I
can you
get
make it
you.
memorable? How can you make a person who plays two chords make it the best thing ever?
Yeah.
Right? How
Yeah.
can you make that memorable?
Mm.
You know? I don't have the best voice in the world. I am not technically proficient on the guitar or like beat. I'm not the best beatboxer in the world by no stretch of the word. But for me, what I feel that people enjoy is how I do it.
For sure. Yeah.
You know, it's how I make it for me, and I enjoy it when I do it. You know, as long as you enjoy what you're doing, I think you need to keep that voice in your head, the self-worth voice, the doubts away, because if you're enjoying it, then it doesn't matter if you're the best.
Yep.
Like, as long as you can communicate, you
Yep.
know. So I think, you know, like Johnny Cash, huge inspiration, Bob Dylan, you know, and it always goes back to the lyrics, the words. For me, words mean a lot to me. The words need to feel potent,
Yep.
you know, as much as the musicality is, but
Mm.
the words are important. Yeah.
Yep. When you perform and you say that you really enjoy yourself, that really shows. It really comes across in your performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it, like whoever's paying attention in the crowd, I personally think it's hard to not move, to not want to move when they're watching you play.
Oh man.
Yeah, because that's how I feel. Even just now when you're playing, just
Thanks.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, next question.
Yeah.
The mandatory bucket list question.
Okay.
So, which artist, dead or alive,
Oh. Okay.
would you love to work with and why?
Whoa.
Anyone.
Okay, I'll go with Dit first.
Sure.
Get Dit. Prince.
Oof.
Prince.
Okay.
Have to go with Prince, because I feel like we're a bit similar, but I would love to get into his brain, man. Like, to have that, the amount of work that he has that's not released, you know, the amount of diverse that's he's also a huge inspiration to me because he's so diverse.
Yeah.
I felt like he needed to be as big as Michael Jackson or even bigger, because he can dance,
Yep.
he can sing, his stage presence is incredible.
Yep.
Can play every instrument. I mean, like,
Yep. And he can shred.
he can shred, man.
Yeah.
He can do that double bass thing. Can shred. Can do a split.
Everything.
I learned the split from him.
Right.
And
Right.
sometimes when I perform, I do a split, and
Okay.
he inspired me. You know, I would love to like work with like he actually taught me about. I didn't know I was learning it until I saw this documentary that it was made about him. He did something called vault mentality, where he would just write songs on the floor, whatever it is. If it's rock, if it's pop, if it's psychedelic, if it's classical, whatever comes out from his soul, he just puts it, and he categorizes it, and he puts it in a safe somewhere. Then when he wants to come back to it to work on an album, he goes back to it if it works. So I didn't know I was doing that.
Yeah.
So at a young age, I was actually writing so many songs, writing, even though they were crap. But like, I just kept writing, and creating something. And I didn't know I was doing it until I saw that, you know. And sometimes I'll go back to the song. Oh, that song is quite cool. Then I put it into this one. You know, I didn't know I was doing that until I saw that documentary. So that was wow. We're very similar in that sense.
Nice.
He's a multi-instrumentalist,
Yep.
instrumentalist, and
Yep.
you know, so yeah, huge inspiration. I would love, to see his show. That would have been amazing. Yeah. So that's Prince.
Yeah.
Alive.
Anyone alive?
Definitely. I want to say U2.
Ooh.
I want to say U2 because actually, sometimes when I write songs, right, I hear other people singing it.
Right.
So there's some songs that it's like rock songs, some of it's psychedelic, some of it is like soft pop or soft rock ballads. And sometimes I always like, because U2 is also a huge inspiration. So some of the songs I write is like, oh, this sounds like what Bono would sing or what U2 would sing. So they are a huge. I literally am a fanatic of them. Like, I have books about them. I have
okay.
Bono's latest book. Yeah, big
Nice.
fan. So U2, if you're watching this, sorry, but definitely U2. I have a lot of different songs that I hear them sing, and I would love to like nitpick their creativity as a band. You know, how they improvise, and
Yeah.
if even songwriting and improvisation, I also learned from them. How they just improvised songs. So most of the same famous songs, they're just improvised
Yeah.
in the studio,
Mm.
you know. So, and in terms of lyrics, Bono is like a huge inspiration.
Yeah.
Very deep lyrics, very
Yeah.
controversial lyrics.
Good lyrics.
I think no one can. Yeah, sure. Bob Dylan is a great lyricist and all that, but I think Bono, especially Bono and U2, their lyrics are so smart.
Oh yeah.
You know, they're
Yeah.
so intelligent. Just like comedy, right? Like Key and Peele, like their comedy is intelligent.
Mm.
You know, and U2 is very intelligent. You
Yeah.
know, so they inspired the songwriting in me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
U2 has always been a mystery for me in the sense that so they've been political.
Yeah.
Like the
Of
lyrics
course.
talks about
Of course.
like all kinds of stuff, right? But somehow they've managed to not step on anyone's toes.
Mm.
They've not been arrested. They've not been charged with anything. No one's like, I mean, these four guys are still around decades
Yeah,
on,
they're still
right?
around, man.
And
They did a
even
show
though
in
they've been
Vegas.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
and Bono, and they've been so influential, like for human rights and everything.
Yeah.
Right?
They're great
So,
activists.
yeah.
You know, they go
yeah,
beyond the music. You know,
Yeah.
their songs come to life. You know, they're not just songs. They are movements. You know,
yes.
and so they help fight for rights, for people's rights, for AIDS. They have the One Foundation, and it's not just music for them. You know, Bono is like a spokesperson. You know, I feel like this was his calling, and music was just a step
Yeah.
for him to do that.
Yeah.
You know, it feels that way.
True.
But they're very distinct. You know, I'm a huge fan of them. I love all of them. And they're so intricately different. Like Larry Mullen Jr. is not a trained drummer,
Mm.
and all of them is just improvised. He actually plays the drum wrong,
Right.
and that what makes him different.
Different. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Because no one plays like him.
No one plays like him.
Yeah.
Who has like what I think a floor tom next to the snare.
Mm.
He puts a floor tom next to the snare.
Yeah.
And he plays
That's
like,
his thing.
and it's his thing, right? Edge as well.
Mm.
You know, very distinct.
Yes.
You know, so I think that's why they're relevant, because they're distinct.
Yeah.
They do what no other band does, in a way.
Yes.
You know.
Yep.
And they push boundaries in terms of music. Like
For sure.
if you hear like their songs in the 90s, like Upton Baby, that album, and Zooropa and Pop,
So
like,
different.
so different.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
take that one song from Pop and you go back to their first album, it's like, who are this band? No.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
So they inspire me to bring out the versatility in an artist. You're not just one thing.
Mm.
You can do as many things, you know,
Yeah.
in music.
Yeah.
You're not, let's say AC/DC, yeah. You want that brand. I mean, imagine if AC/DC does a jazz album.
Yeah.
That's like, wait, what?
They might get cancelled.
Yeah, exactly, right? The whole world will flip. Right? Imagine if they do that. You two doing a jazz album? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're so different.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah.
AC/DC.
I remember when Zooropa came out.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was U2, and
Right.
And my dad told me, yeah, it's U2. I'm like,
Right?
why do it sound so different? And my dad's like, yeah, they're just trying stuff out.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
them. They're just trying stuff.
Exactly. And that's the attitude. I think that's what I want for my music as well. It's like, oh, it's just Marco doing his thing. You know, every album or every EP or every single needs to be at least slightly different,
Yeah.
you know? And they sort of did that. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, oh, it's just you two. They're just doing
Yeah.
stuff, experimenting with stuff.
Yeah.
And it should be that way, you know, like AC/DC. Oh, it's just the same thing. It's the same attitude. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Definitely
Nice.
those two.
Nice. So Prince and U2, huh?
Prince and YouTube.
U2, if you're watching this,
Please, I want to
holla.
play with y'all.
Yeah. Okay, now let's before we come to a close. So there are everyday young musicians, aspiring musicians, kids having that spark of interest of, oh, maybe I should play music, or maybe I should get into guitar, or maybe I should get into stage performance. What would your advice or your message be to these aspiring young musicians?
I would say, give yourself permission to express. Give yourself permission to fail. Because we're all still finding ourselves, you know. It's still a journey for me, you know. It's still a journey for me. So, don't be afraid to express yourself differently. If music is not your thing, it's okay. You can do painting, you can do drawing, you know, filmmaking. But give yourself permission to do that. You know, I think we're so caught up in being forced to do things, and we feel this wall. You know, I think even for myself, I'm sure you feel that we're very hard on ourselves, right? We're very hard because we're so creative, and you know, it's very difficult, and I get it. And I think we need to give permission to fail, to be creative, to explore things. So I think that that's my advice. Give yourself permission to be expressive, to express
Nice.
yourself in whatever you want to be. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I think that's really good advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know, like if you are part of an environment where you're allowed to be
Oh man.
exactly who you are
Oh my God.
all the time without a grown-up saying, hey, don't talk so
Oh
much,
my
don't
gosh.
laugh so much, sit
Oh
down
my God,
quietly, don't make so much noise, don't
Dude.
get overexcited. If you don't have all of that, then you're lucky, right? That's
you are
really
lucky.
great, right? But because of all of that, we can't help
Becomes
but
a
growing
voice.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we become overly critical
Oh
about
my God.
ourselves and stuff like that, right? So that's beautiful advice. I think more people should hear that, even adults,
Yeah.
right? To just be allowed to just be free in
Yeah.
who you are and
Be
what
allowed
you
to do
are,
that.
right? Without worried about, oh, I'm gonna fail or I'm gonna make a mistake
Man.
and things like that, right? I really like that. Like how you going back to how you would play. You would allow the kids to play first
Yeah.
before developing like
Yeah.
the objective for the stage
Of course.
production and things like that, right? That's so important, just
Yeah.
to be free and not have to worry about, you know, it's gonna be
Yeah.
wrong. or
Exactly.
There's no such thing, right?
Yeah. And also with like backing off that, like when it comes to playing with children, sometimes you have something that's planned, but there's something that they do and you're inspired to go off that. You improvise with what they do and all that. So it becomes very organic.
Yeah.
But in your voice is like, oh, okay, we need to do this next, we need to do this next. It's still there.
Yeah.
But if it's a good class or whatever happens, because you don't know what happens, a kid may cry or somebody accidentally pushes him and they cry, and you have to deal with that, obviously.
Yeah.
And that comes in with your instincts as a performer, as an improviser. That also plays a very important part into the directing thing, you know? It really helps to manage people, because managing
Managing
people.
is- What's on the horizon for Marco George? Any new releases coming up?
Yeah, I actually have a new song coming out. It's called There She Goes. And it's going to be released soon, very soon. And that song actually is, I wrote in the UK. I
Okay.
wrote that song in the UK. And I didn't know what to do with it. I created the guitar parts, the vocal hook, everything was done. But it was a demo. And I didn't know what to do with it for like 3 years. And then recently worked with a producer this year. And he sort of went through different songs and he picked that demo.
Okay.
And that really spoke to him in a way.
Mm.
And so we worked on it. And yeah, that's, like I said, that's like 3 years in the making. Like you
Nice.
could have an idea back in the day and
Yeah.
you wouldn't know if it would make it into the light, you know.
Yeah.
So that's a very interesting song because I was sort of traveling from UK to Italy to
Okay.
visit my relatives there.
Mm.
And the album cover that you're gonna see is actually a photo taken by accident.
Okay.
So it's actually the girl's face is actually is a friend of mine, and I had a bit of a crush on her.
Okay.
But her name was Valentina.
Nice.
Yeah, and we were at a party. So every year in Italy we celebrate a coming of age party for the
Okay.
18-year-olds, and so that night was like crazy. It was like 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So I was with my phone just recording, and then when my camera went to her, there was sort of a light streak on her face from a different light source, and my movement of the camera created that sort of spaced face, that really colorful, iridescent light.
Okay.
And that's the album cover. There's no edit. There's no filter.
Nice.
That's it, you know.
Nice.
And I think it really encapsulates the song. There She Goes. It's kind of that dreamy feel. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a very
beautiful.
chill, relax. You want to get, you know, when I get high somewhere. It's kind of that feel.
Nice.
But yeah.
Is Valentina the she in There She Goes by any
Could be.
chance?
It could be her.
Okay.
It could be someone else. But
Valentina,
yeah,
if you're
she.
watching, yeah.
No, but yeah, she. Yeah, it's quite. It sort of inspired that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That leads us to the next question. So, where can people reach you and your music? You can plug your socials. And...
Yeah. So you can find me on Spotify, Marco George. You can find me on Instagram, Marco George _music. You can find me on SoundCloud. I've got other tracks there. That are sort of demos and release stuff. And you can find me on TikTok as well.
Nice.
I'm there. Got to be there as musicians.
Everyone has to.
Every bloody person has to be on TikTok. I don't know why. But anyway, we're there. And iTunes, all that, Bandcamp, I'm all there. But yeah, if you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram. That's where you can find me more. I usually update there and post more stuff there.
And you post regular videos on YouTube.
On
right?
YouTube, yes.
Yeah,
correct.
thanks. 2 videos a month.
Usually 2 videos a month.
Nice.
I'm starting out as 2 videos a month first,
Yeah.
and if I get the momentum going, maybe 3 videos a month.
Nice.
Yeah, but we'll
Nice.
see. Start easy first.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure, Marco. Thank you so much. I think we've covered so much in this conversation, and it's been really fun. And thank you so much for doing this with us.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Oh.